What is up, my philanthropians? I'm Logan, the Totally Epic Gamer, and today we're going to be going over the Torrential Downpour or Scrapnel build or Anomoly-based power for the Technomancer. Now, this build is not as good as the Blighted Rounds build. Let's just get that first out. But what it is super fun and super low rate of death. I think this build is going to be great for console players and great for people who have trouble, using a lot of firepower, aim down sights type builds. Maybe some people are a little bit slower. This build is great for that. It is a very low skill cap build, and it's very easy to pull off. Now, it has a huge amount of requirements, but it is well worth it. It is super cool. So we're going to start with just the armor. This is the full build set. I just wanted to show you the full build set. We will not be using the gloves or the boots, but this is the full build. Starting with the top, we have Torrential Downpour's goggles. The reason we're using this is good armor, which we're going to be using, good anomaly power, skills life leech, which is the backbone to the build, and cooldown reduction or CDR. We got anomaly echo and then additional Scrapnel trap. Now, the additional Scrapnel trap is really important, because when we get to here, you can see Trap Cluster doubles my Scrapnel. So there are two mods to increase your Scrapnel by 1, and then this will increase it by 3. Okay, so we're going to be able to throw 6 Scrapnel. On top of that, this upper armor, same thing, skills life leech, anomaly power, CDR. There is a method to this. This is exactly the build you want, right? Now we have the leggings, good armor. I got a decent roll on it. Good anomaly, skills, CDR, same thing. And we have Scrapnel, the supplies. I don't like Circle of Power on this, but I can only affect one piece, and I need the 3 set for the Torrential Downpour set, which, as you can see, is Cluster Bombs after explosion, dealing 83k. That's going to go up as we change it, and I'm just going to explain why we're not using the gloves and why we're not using the boots. It's a very easy explanation. Max health is the replacement piece, or a replacement ability instead of an anomaly power. We can't have that. We need anomaly power. This build does not need more health. What we need is more anomaly power. We're already low damage. So we're just going to switch that out to what I've already deemed to be a good set. This is not perfect. This is not best in slot or anything like that. I have good skills, life leech, anomaly power, good healing received. Those are excellent abilities. However, I did not get good mods on it. So we have Ice Trap, which is not great. And we took Scrapnel, obviously, for the increased skill damage. And then here, again, same reason. Quartermaster is really cool, but we don't need it. That's very utility based. We're going for raw damage. Like, we're just trying to clear solo. So we're actually going to swap that out with this right here. And what I put on this, and I got really good rolls on this, healing received, anomaly power. The only thing I'd want is skills life leech, making me literally indestructible. But I got a golem, and that's a great roll for the epic on already great attributes. So this was really good setup for me. And I have cold snap, killing enemies frozen by the skill, makes them explode, dealing 250k damage. As you're going to see, because of my anomaly build, it's going to be closer to 500k, which is fantastic. So that's the pretty basic of the build, going into Scrapnel. One of the things you probably see is missing here, and honestly, it's not great, because that's one of the issues with this, is if I had gotten more damage as the initial piece and not Ice Trap, but if the abilities were still good, I would put the increased radius on it. For the Scrapnel build, it's one of those mods that increases radius detected and increases explosion by 33%. Pretty good. Honestly, would have improved this build for the AoE portion, but we didn't get a good roll. And when it gets to these kind of builds, like, the nitty gritties really matter, and I can't give up anomaly power and skill life leech for something like increased radius detection. It's not part of the build. There's an order, and in the most important order, anomaly power, skills life leech. For our weapon, we're doing Air to the Desert. Now, the reason is first off, Sandstorm scales with AP, or anomaly power, and that's really great, doing a lot of damage, lots of AoE damage. But more importantly, we're putting Fortress on there, right? 43% damage bonus based on your armor. As you can see, I have 50,000 armor, and I'm going to get increased armor from the class attributes that I choose. This is not based on not just your weapon. It's all abilities. Everything you do increased by 43% of your armor. This is a huge damage buff, and that's why you have to run it on anomaly builds. Almost every anomaly build is going to run Fortress, and this is why. Now we're going to go through the class a little bit. You see, I stuck to the bottom tier almost purely. Wipeout is the only portion I took. Enemies below 30% receive 20% more damage. That's for obvious reasons. I just need more damage. So let's just kind of go through the build from the start. We're taking anomaly power, obvious reasons. Increased cooldown reduction. Now, I've actually thought about this a little bit. do I really need increased cooldown reduction on Scrapnel? I'm throwing it 6 times and then I'm running around. Do I really need it? And the answer is there's not a lot of other great options. You know, I could start trying to move into getting gadgets lower cooldown or getting some resistances, some health, something up in this mid tier. But otherwise, it's not really worth it. You know, I don't really need weapon leech. So since I'm not trying to get to this area, it was the best that I could feasibly reach. So I figured it's okay. And we'll get another one of it later on too. So resistance piercing, obvious reasons. We're anomaly powered. Anomaly power, obvious reasons. This, you're skipping because it's sidearm damage. We don't really care about firepower. Your class melee skill also inflicts toxic. This, just not good. We will likely not be using this ever. You know, we'll be throwing Scrapnel when we're that close. Increase your resistance by 20%, which beats out first shot, does 15% of your anomaly power. Now, if you're using a reload build, this might be okay. I just don't think you have enough anomaly power to really warrant this. You can maybe push 250k anomaly power. So about 30k extra damage on your shot, not really worth it just for one shot. Increase anomaly power by 6%, obvious reasons. Activating decay skills increases your anomaly power. We are going to be spamming Blight Turret for that increased anomaly power over 30 seconds, very similar to the Blighted Rounds build, where you just spam it over and over to increase your Scrapnel damage. Wipeout, we already talked about, just it's increased damage, and we're already taking kind of worse off options that we don't really enjoy, such as the cooldown reduction. Wipeout is a good choice. Toxic afflicted enemies last 30% longer. It's just not really worth it. You know, our Blighted Turret does do great damage, and you'll see later that's pushing about 30k per hit, which is great, but we don't really worry about it too much. Reduced ordnance skills cooldown by 15%. Again, it's okay. You know, I find that the cooldown reduction isn't great on your Scrapnel because you're throwing 6. You know, it's not like you're throwing it, waiting 5 seconds, and then throwing it again. You're throwing 6 at a time. The cooldown reduction is less important. You're more about grouping enemies and clearing large mobs. Anomaly power, again, it's anomaly power. This is great. Every time you activate an ordnance skill, Scrapnel, you'll get 15% skill leech. You are unkillable. Believe me, you're going to see how unkillable you are. Increase anomaly power by 6%. Again, resistance piercing, makes sense. Skill leech, makes sense. This one, you won't really drop below 30%. And, you know, that's a really close margin, especially for this kind of like high level, like CT15. So when you go below 30%, that's pretty much death zone. But when you couple it with Golem, which I already showed you guys is on my mod, this can be really good. It can be life-saving that you just won't die at the very, very tight margin. This will keep you alive. And there wasn't too many other great options, so I kept that one in. Again, anomaly power, next part of the build, makes sense. Activating ordnance skills increases your armor by 50%. Now, if you remember, we're running Fortress. So 50% armor increase, that's 25k. Fortress gives me 43%. I'm getting 10k anomaly power from this. That is amazing because it works with Scrapnel. We're going to be spamming Scrapnel. Decreases elite's damage against you and your allies by 10%. You have to take this because you have to move into the next thing, which is anomaly power over toxic damage. Again, I think toxic's good. I just don't see the numbers when I complete expeditions to warrant taking more toxic damage. And of course, finally, activating ordnance skills increases anomaly power by 50%. This is just a huge buff, right? Every time I throw Scrapnel, I get 50% buff. It doesn't stack, but I have it up 24/7, so we're okay. So that's the overview of everything going on here. And I'm just going to go over the quick skills I have. Scrapnel, obvious. Blighted Turret, again, obvious. It's increasing our anomaly power for Scrapnel. And then Cold Snap, because we actually are running the Cold Snap pop mod, right? And I believe it's here where killing a frozen enemy does 250k damage. It's going to be closer to 500k, and I'm actually going to show you that now. I won't be going through the whole level. This is a slow killer. However, I did do Coliseum in about 14 minutes. Not bad. It's not gold level. This isn't a gold level build. I think that there's some definite improvements that could be made, but I think they're so fine-tuned. You would just get gold if you were perfect max on this. But otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So we're just going to go through a quick overview of how this build really works out, and it's actually really fun. It's easy. That's the biggest thing for me, is that it's easy. I see a lot of people on console saying like, man, you want me to dip around, run around, you have no defense on your build, like how am I supposed to do this? We're put on Blighted Turret here, and like, what do you want me to do, right? As you see, Blighted Turret doing some good damage. That's the explosion. I didn't talk too much about the set bonus, but as you see here, if I go over to this, come on over here, my friends. You'll see that little explosives come out after. They do 214,000 damage. It's fantastic. And now you're going to get to see the build in all of its glory as we get to ramp up everybody. Not too much worrying about damage. We don't really care. It's not really a big deal. As you can see, I'm getting attacked here a lot, and I'm taking 0 damage. And we're just going to freeze and start popping. And it's so easy. You run around, you throw your grenades, and you keep going. And so we just keep running here. One of the things you can do is also lay traps, you know, throw down 3 bombs, walk a whole team through it, and go like that. You see I don't shoot too much. Even though Sandstorm is good, I'll do it on big mobs. I don't shoot too much because it means I can't keep running, and I like doing the running portion of this. And here we go. I popped it a little early. Everybody there kind of just exploded, but very easy. It's super fun, and I use 3 scraps, and boom. Very, very fun. This is a great one for it. Just kind of going over which expeditions are going to be good for you. Anything where people have to follow you around, right? If you're getting chased by breachers, berserkers, bulwarks, you're in a great spot. But perforas are always the ones you want to kill. And as you can see here, I just take no damage. It doesn't even matter. I have my bar above my health bar has every single buff under the sun, and I just don't even care. And honestly, that's the most fun part. Like, oh, alpha perforas are attacking me. This is unfortunate. Freeze, just start popping. I got 6 of these bad boys to go, and they do, you know, close to a mil 2 damage, counting all the little bombs, you know, not even counting the explosion from Cold Snap. It's just, you know, a very fun, very easy build. Of course, every build has drawbacks. You know, you can see this is actually going pretty fast, even though I'm just talking and lazily going through it. What you will notice is that bosses are tough. This is an AoE build, right? So bosses are going to be inherently difficult for you. You have no way to do single target damage, right? But the one thing that's great about this build is because you have so much skill, life leech, and you really don't take too much damage to start with because of your huge armor bonuses, like, you're not going to die to the bosses. You're just going to have to kill them slowly. And so what I usually do is group up as many minions as I can around a boss, throw down Cold Snap, and I did Cold Snap too early there because I don't even have Scrapnel, but it's not too big of a deal. I just stand, you know, let them do their delivery, whatever they want to do here, and just keep throwing Scrapnel until they all die. So that's pretty much the build. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you want to see more builds in the future, and let me know if it helped you out. And if you don't like it or you think there's some improvements, definitely leave a comment. I'll read it, go through it, and some of you guys have great insights, and I end up pushing them into my builds. So please keep that coming. And thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.